Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital YouTube channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Today on General Hospital, Liz talks with Aiden and Jake about Jason, Willow, Joss, and Michael talk about Jason, and Brooke Lynn tries to keep Chase calm. Jason is experiencing jail blues in the interview room at the PCPD. Chase phones Anna from the squad room, telling her she needs to go down to the station. Suddenly, Kate's appears. Chase and Kate's enter to see Jason, who says he's exercising his right to counsel. Chase believes it is a ruse to get off because his lawyer is not present. Kate's informs Chase that he will handle the situation and sends him on his way. Alone, he questions Jason, "What the hell are you doing here?" Chase is outraged and concerned that Kate's will offer Jason a bargain. Brooke Lynn asks what he requires. Chase wants to visit Dante, so they head to the hospital. Back in the interrogation room, Kate's questions why Jason brought himself in. Jason explains to establish that he did not shoot Dante. Kate lashes out. The evidence suggests otherwise. Kate inquires about what happened, and Jason responds that he did everything as ordered with the other gunmen on the roof, including ruining the shot, convincing him that they didn't have time to take a second shot, and leaving the weapon behind. He claims they fled, but Dante pursued, and Hamish shot Dante. Kate informs Jason that his cover had already been blown because Sonny was spotted at the warehouse while under video surveillance. Jason informs Kate that Hamish is no longer alive. Kate demands him tell them everything that happened before Anna arrives. Jason reveals that Hamish shot Dante, so he shot Hamish. He left his body where it was and believes the extraction crew took him away when they arrived looking for them. Kate knows he called 911 to assist Dante, and he must have realized his voice would be recognized. Kate questions why he didn't call him and why he fled. Jason claims Dante saw him and identified him, so he contacted 911, and he couldn't return to the extraction crew since they'd know he shot Hamish. Kate again claims he should have called him. He asks where Jason went after the pier, and Jason mentions the footbridge. Kate confronts him, knowing he originally approached Carly. Jason claims he walked straight to the bridge, but Kate claims he was bleeding, and that traces of his DNA will be found at Carly's if he searches her apartment again. Kate reminds Jason that he pledged to cooperate, and this is not cooperation. Jason repeats that he went from the dock to the bridge. Kate asks why he went from the bridge. Jason did not believe Kate would want Anna and the local police involved. Kate wonders where he went after jumping and who took care of him. He is aware that his bullet wound has been sutured and inquires as to who aided him. Was Diane the one who planned things for him? He knows she has a history of letting crooks off the hook, but she'll need to be a magician to save him this time. Kate explains that without a sniper to blame, he is on the hook, and if Dante dies, he faces a capital murder charge and life in jail. Jason claims Dante is still alive and can recover. Kate cautions him that he best hope Dante does. He fumes that they spent 2.5 years on this operation. They planted him inside this group, and now his cover has been blown. He cautions Jason that if they don't acquire the information they're looking for, the FBI would use their leverage, which they both know he does not want. Trina arrives at Bobby's, and Joss is pleased to see her. Trina explains that she's here to meet someone else. Joss hasn't seen her since her breakup with Dex, and because Trina no longer lives in the dorms, it's as if they're separated. She asks Trina where she has been. Trina said she simply assumed Joss needed space because she was going through a lot with Dex. Joss misses her friend, but Trina says she isn't fun to be around right now. Joss believes they can commiserate together. Trina admits she was keeping away because of Jason, who she knows is important to both her and her mother. Joss is perplexed. This is about Jason. Trina wonders if it ever occurred to her that Jason might have shot her father. Joss claims Jason couldn't have because the shooter was going for Sonny, whom he would never shoot. Trina suggests that she may not know Jason as well as she believes she does. Michael appears to see Joss, and Trina departs to visit her aunt Stella. Joss asks Michael what's going on. He claims to have news about Jason. He informs her that Jason has handed himself in and that the story will be widely publicized shortly. Joss thinks it's a relief to know where he is and that he's alive, but if Dante dies, Jason might face him and talk about Jason some more. Joss spoke with their mother, who saw him, but she stated she didn't spend much time with Jason before Anna and Katis arrived. Joss inquires if Jason told Diane anything, but he responds that Diane just informed him that they discussed the charges he faces. Diane, on the other hand, warned him not to get his hopes up that Jason would be granted bail, as the situation is deteriorating rapidly. Michael leaves to go chat to Willow. Outside, Stella encounters Trina. Trina believes they should cancel because she is not feeling up to being anywhere with anyone. Stella understands that she is dealing with loss and grief, but the agony she feels will change in the coming weeks. Trina explains that she doesn't know how she feels from one instant to the next and is mostly numb. She experiences anguish and rage, but for the most part, it's like walking through thick fog. She can't taste what she's eating, doesn't care about lunch, and is simply going through the motions. Stella believes she is still in shock, and she wanted to meet her because she was frightened. Stella informs Trina that she doesn't have to suffer in silence, and she shouldn't. Trina suggests they reschedule because she is not interested in discussing this. Stella claims her friends and family do not want her wandering around in discomfort. Trina sobs, perhaps because she does not want to move on from Spencer, whom she adored. Stella welcomes and understands. She believes that holding on to the suffering will keep him alive. She claims Spencer loved her as well, and that he would not want his memory to be marred by pain or for her to suffer. Trina wonders, what if he was the only great love of her life? Stella reminds Trina that she has her entire life ahead of her, and that she should focus on the present moment and remain open to healing. Trina is unsure if she can because her fury is so overwhelming. Stella claims she no longer has anyone to blame for Esm's death. Stella assures her that the anger will pass, and it is difficult to live without closure because they were unable to give Spencer a decent funeral. According to her, a funeral brings loved ones together to support one another. Trina knows they offered Spencer a tribute, but it was insufficient. Stella proposes that she find her own method of remembering and saying farewell. Stella goes into Bobby's, orders pie, and invites Joss to join her. Joss reveals she's worried about Trina and isn't sure how to be her friend right now. Stella thinks she's a great friend, but she'll have to give Trina time to understand this without rushing her. Joss recalls Oscar's death and how everyone attempted to console her, but it didn't help. Stella claims Trina is strong and will find her way home. Trina visits the cemetery and says, "Hi, Spencer's grave." She can't even call him Spencer because he's not present, and the grave is merely a placeholder. She admits she keeps hoping to get a phone saying he made it ashore, that this was a nightmare, and that he is well. She understands it's not good for her to fantasize about something that won't happen. She does, however, enjoy being by the ocean, since it is relaxing and makes her feel closer to him. Even when it rains, he appears to be in the atmosphere, everywhere, but she feels as if she is banished. She imagines being in Paris with him and spending their free time visiting museums, galleries, and bistros. She says they walk around Paris hand in hand, which is her fantasy, but in reality she is at Port Charles. She is not in school, she lives at home and works at the gallery. Even painting hurts, but it keeps her from missing him. She does not want to say goodbye to him, but she must try. She knows that if she doesn't, she too will sink. Liz can't find her tablet at the hospital, but Willow gives it to her after finding it earlier. Willow admits to Liz that knowing Jason's back must be difficult for her family. Liz claims her entire family is on edge, and Jake is particularly cranky. Willow informs Liz that she is a good mother and is doing her best. Liz acknowledges she's just as nervous as Jake and wants to know what's going on, but she has to hold her breath and wait for the news like everyone else. Brooklyn and Chase arrive, and Chase is still nervous about Jason showing up at the station. Willow and Liz hear him, and Brooklyn informs Chase that he does not have all of the information and that there may be more to Jason's narrative. Chase wonders what she makes of it all. Brooklyn claims that if Jason did shoot Dante, he had the decency to give himself in. And Willow pursues her as she forgets her tablet again. Willow does not want to pry, but they both heard Chase say the same thing. Liz is terrified as she repeatedly tells Jake to have an open mind, but she doesn't know what to believe. Willow does not know Jason as well as she does, but Dante is Michael's brother and Sunny's kid, so she cannot imagine Jason would shoot him. That's her 2 cents, and she advises Liz not to lose hope. Liz thanks her and says she should go home because her boys will be home from school shortly. Willow wishes her luck. Meanwhile, Brooklyn tries to keep Chase calm. Chase understands that he cannot go into this blindly, but he must discover what happened for the sake of Dante and his family. Brooklyn describes him as a good man, and she considers herself fortunate to have him. He thinks he's lucky to have her. They decide to visit Dante. Michael arrives to see Willow and informs her about Jason's decision to give himself in, stating that he had to or face the repercussions. Willow is only relieved that by handing himself in, Danny would no longer be involved. Michael believes it is over, but Willow questions whether it is. Michael claims Jason would never give them up, and he most likely turned himself in to prevent them from being implicated. Willow is concerned about Jason, his children, and Liz. She adds Liz is concerned about how all of this is impacting Jake, and she wishes she could tell them what they know. Michael says they can't and must let this play out. Jake and Aiden arrive home from school, and Aiden is rambling on about bread beginnings. Liz will shortly arrive. She hears Jake lash out at Aiden, telling him he knows he's distracting him to make him feel better about his psychotic father. Liz sets the boys down and promises to address all of their questions as best she can. Aiden inquires whether Jason will go to jail. Liz has no idea, but Jake is furious since he shot Dante and will undoubtedly go to jail. Jake yells, "I turned myself in," which means he did it. He wishes he could spend the rest of his life in prison, and it would be easier if he died. Liz apologizes to Jake for everything that's happened. Aiden explains there could be a variety of reasons why Jason was away and why he returned, and he assures his mother everything will be fine. Jake apologized but did not mean what he said. She informs her son that he is entitled to feel furious and that this will be difficult, but they will support each other. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.